The video will display the timeline of homelessness, including the word homelessness. It is not to offend any people who have previously or currently lost their home. It will also explain what homelessness is, and the facts could be distressing to some viewers. You have your warnings. Homeless people have to survive with what they have. There's always a chance where they can die from freezing or starvation and sickness. They must depend on the passerbys. But there's a chance that they will say yes or no. If not, they will slowly die. The word homelessness only started being used in the mid-1980s. People before that would refer to it as either mostly transient, which was first used during the late 16th century, and there were many other names to address the state of position the person was in. Homelessness wasn't really recognized until the Great Depression between 1929 to 1939, and World War II, which from 1939 to 1945, and post-World War II. The Great Depression was a severe economic crisis or depression that affected millions of lives around the world. The Wall Street crash that was in 1929, when the U.S. experienced a major collapse in the stock market that rose the destruction of many countries' economy. The unemployment rate went up from 5% to almost 30%. Major banks would be closed, but some countries were unaffected as they do not have any links to American currency or any sort at all. As this crisis rose, people are forced to give up essential things like shelter. World War II affected lots due to the frequent attacks made on many certain cities. For an example, London. Germany handled 111s would soar above the town and bomb them daily during 1940. This loses and destroys many homes, which causes people to live on the streets. After World War II, some countries were completely affected by the war. Germany had to pay lots of more debt on top of the Treaty of Versailles in 1918. The government must pay this as quick as they can to avoid the stockpile of interest. So, they must raise extreme taxes that will corrupt millions of people's savings and salaries. During the 1960s and 70s, the Canadian government heavily invested on adequate housing for those without homes. The National Housing Act in 1971 was amended, and 20,000 units of social housing is built every year by then. In 1981, the UN declared the year 1987 would be the International Year of Shelter for the Homelessness. After 1981, the UN was then focused on building homes for the hundreds and thousands of people that were homeless in less developed countries. But by the time they reached 1987, the UN saw a growing problem. There was a rapid increase of homeless people in wealthy and developing countries all of a sudden. By 1990, the continuous buildings of social units will come to a stop. And in 1996, the government federal puts all their low income towards building shelter for the homeless. In 2019, approximately 35,000 people experience homelessness on any given night, and 235,000 are homeless in any given year. The federal government invested 251 million Canadian dollars into social units every year. In total, the federal government has invested 2.2 billion Canadian dollars. And they plan to reduce the chronic homelessness by 50% by 2027 to 2028. As we all hope that the issue of homelessness dissolves, for now, have some empathy and give a few dollars for them to keep living. Thank you for watching.